I'm gonna break down the shocking, dangerous effects of, you heard it right, Tylenol. I'm Dr. Dan, I'm a health practice advocate. I help practitioners help more people stay away from drugs. So let's dive in. You may be sitting there thinking,
Tylenol is safe, right? So many people use it, it must be safe, right? We've been using Tylenol for so many years, of course it's safe, right?
and that is where the problem lies. You would be accurate when you say a lot of people use it. In fact, 77 million Americans use Tylenol every single day, 23% of the population. And they're typically using it for some form of pain relief or to reduce a fever. The active ingredient is acetaminophen. It is prescribed or recommended by a lot of doctors. If you watch a TV show, you will see a commercial, it will tell you you probably need it. But as a mentor of mine once said, just because a lot of people participate in a bad idea doesn't make it anything other than a bad idea. And it turns out that Tylenol has a lot more dangerous effects than most people are aware of. And the reason why I do a video like this is because if they knew more of what you and I know, or what you will learn very quickly, they will not do what they've been taught to do, just because a lot of people do it. So let's break it down. Side note, I'm not even gonna get into the fact that the symptoms it's supposed to treat are there for a reason. Is a fever a good thing? It's there for a reason. Did God put a fever in the body for no reason? Think about that. I'm not saying they're pleasant or fun to have, but if they're there for a reason, the question becomes, should we treat them like the enemy of war? Now, that's a topic for a different conversation. This video is about the dangerous effects that you probably haven't heard of. The ones you have heard of, the side effects you are probably familiar with, are GI agitation, otherwise known as GI bleeding or liver toxicity. Those are what most people know. What most people don't know is that Tylenol use will literally destroy one of the greatest nutrients of your immune system, called glutathione. Research shows that Tylenol use plummets glutathione. And what that does to your immune system is essentially like taking the police force off of the streets for 2 full days during a riot. Glutathione is so critical to your health as it relates to your immune system, and Tylenol
drops it.
So therefore, Tylenol is actually immunosuppressive. It suppresses your immunity. This isn't being told, but the research is clear. But the other big element that gets overlooked, and most people just don't know this, most doctors don't know this, is that Tylenol has been linked to lower one's empathy. Empathy is our ability to relate with others. One of the biggest social skills that determines success of a relationship is the ability to be empathetic. If you can't relate well with others, look at some of the things that's happening in schools right now. The bullying, the social media craze, comparing ourselves to others. When you can't be empathetic, it literally creates so many other challenges, not only just to somebody growing up, but to an adult. And the idea that you took something that seems unrelated to empathy and emotion and joy and happiness, lowers those things, I just think, man, that's crazy.
It's crazy, man.
And people deserve to know. And so as a health practitioner, that you may be sitting there saying, I didn't know this, so what can I do about it? Well, the first thing that I would recommend you do about it is to own the fact that you can't rob Peter to pay Paul. People take Tylenol for a pain. You can't rob Peter to pay Paul. You can't take a drug to get rid of something without causing it something else. And if you have an ability to address the cause of health problems, you are so needed. So people can avoid this junk. There's a lot of people taking drugs that if they didn't have to, if they didn't have the symptom, they wouldn't take them. So therefore, as a practitioner, your job is to be in front of them and to get them to know, like, and trust you so that you can solve their problems without the medications. When I saw some of this research, I love to look at research. I love to see what the actual cost of people not solving their health problems really looks like. What does it really cost them to say no to solving the cause of their problems? If they go through life in pain and never address the cause, what does it really cost them? You start to see this research and you realize you have no idea. You've been told by a commercial, a doctor, or a drug dealer, i.e. the pharmaceutical companies, that it's okay, everybody does it, just take it. Lo and behold, you're sitting there, this research, a drop in empathy, a reduction in social interaction or social emotional hormones that help you relate with others is crazy. By taking Tylenol, I think to myself, one of the objectives for my children is they would be happy and joyful. And the idea that they could eventually take a over-the-counter medication that would rob them from the physiology and the hormones that helps them relate with others and therefore create the life they deserve, because relationships, as you know, is one of the, if not most important thing we have in life. And this unintentional consequence of treating a symptom influences our empathy, our behavior, our hormones, our immune system, and nobody's talking about this, nobody's telling me that.
Why does nobody ever tell me anything?
So at least I can make a choice with the appropriate understanding of risk. You see how I get a little fired up about this? Now, you as the health practitioner, I'm speaking to you. You have this understanding. You also have this voice, and you have this opportunity. What I do all day, every day is help health practitioners communicate. Remember, your communication is 93% nonverbal. When you start to have a tone that shifts, you care for them so much, you want them to know that they can't do it that way. Just because everybody else does it that way, they can't do it that way and expect to live the life that we believe and know and trust they deserve. And so if they're saying no to your care, if you're struggling with them committing to your type of care, I'm going to tell you right now, when you get this into your DNA, you know what they're up against. You know the cost of them saying no. You know where they're going to end up. It will transform your ability to build a practice of your dreams, and everybody wins. They win by getting their problem solved. You win by building the revenue and the impact that you were designed to build. And the world wins because there's less drugs. And that is something cool to be a part of and to create a movement behind. If you need help, check out a link below. I would love to talk to you and find out where you're at, where you're headed, and how we can help you. In the meantime, make sure your community knows the detrimental effects of Tylenol. And oh, by the way, if you want the research, the link is down in the notes. I won't say it if I can't reference it. I won't write it if I can't cite it. There it is, Dr. Dan.